Did you know that in ReZero, Otto's first love isn't what you'd expect? Ever since he was born, Otto has had the divine protection of the soul language. This divine protection allows Otto to understand and even talk to animals, but it came at a cost during his childhood, as for the first few years of his life, everything the animals were saying weren't comprehensible to him, so he would just hear constant, incoherent chattering in his head. However, as Otto got older, he began to understand more and more of what the animals were saying to him, until he could understand them completely. It was because of his divine protection that Otto would eventually see animals more as equals instead of actual animals. And this caused him to actually catch feelings for a cat he met in his childhood. However, he would never actually make any moves towards the cat, and eventually, he would watch the cat he fell in love with get taken away by a different cat. Did you know these 3 facts about Agnes Tachyon in Uma Musume? First, her entire character is built around science. She calls her trainer a guinea pig and forces them to test her experimental drugs. Sometimes, the trainer even glows in rainbow colors after taking them. This mad scientist role fits perfectly with her real-life namesake and explains why she always puts research over races or daily needs. Second, her design is full of hidden references. She has 4 zippers on her outfit, which represent her real-life counterpart's 4 wins and 4 starts. In her alternate version, she changes her white lab coat to a black one, symbolizing that research time is over and it is time to prove her theories. Even her ribbon is thought to be litmus paper, referencing both science and her rivals Jungle Pocket, Manhattan Cafe, and Dantsu Flame. For the final fact, it is said that nobody should ever touch her ears or her forehead, although the reason for it is unknown. Would you still try it? Did you know that in ReZero, there is actually a way Subaru can be unalived permanently? In the Pride If story, Subaru manages to achieve an ending for Amelia that he is completely satisfied with, as he got rid of all of Amelia's competition for the throne, burned down Lugunica, and even successfully found a way to beat Reinhard, paving the way for Amelia to easily claim the throne. In the end, Subaru would finally be unalived by Amelia. However, after he was unalived, he did not return to any point in the past, unlike his previous times. This was because Subaru was completely satisfied with the ending he had given Amelia, as he thought her only wish was to become king, and he believed he managed to do that. And he was unalived, believing that his actions would make her happy in the long run. Due to his satisfaction with what he accomplished, he allowed Satella to take away his ability to return by death, and Subaru would finally rest believing that he had achieved his goal in helping Amelia. Did you know that in ReZero, Rem once got so jealous of Amelia that she roped Beatrice into doing something crazy? One night in the mansion, sometime after the Mob Beast attack, Rem heard that Amelia and Ram had treated Subaru to a special mayonnaise dish that he described as amazing. Once she heard about it, Rem became jealous of them because she wasn't included in something that made Subaru happy. Due to this, Rem decided to do something for Subaru that would make him even happier. However, to make sure that what she was doing would be even better than what Amelia did for Subaru, she decided to ask Beatrice for help. When she finally found the Forbidden Library, Rem told Beatrice about the situation and how she needed her help. However, Beatrice refused to do something so kind for Subaru and asked why Rem specifically needed her help. It was then when Rem revealed that she wanted to give Subaru a mayonnaise dish that was better than the one Ram and Amelia made, and that she noticed Beatrice and Subaru have very similar tastes, so she needed her help to taste all the different dishes she prepared to figure out which one was the best. After several unsuccessful attempts trying to convince Beatrice, Rem decided to just shove a sample of a dish in Beatrice's mouth, and after tasting it, Beatrice decided she would help out. After several dishes, Beatrice and Rem decided on a potato salad with mayonnaise, and when Subaru tried it, he loved it. Does anyone have secret feelings for Gojo besides Marin and my dress-up darling? Gojo has interacted with several people outside of Marin ever since he started making cosplays, and one of them actually ended up catching feelings for him. This person could be one of Marin's friends from school, as they all became closer with Gojo during the school festival, but that isn't the case. This person is actually active in the cosplay community, and is even friends with Marin, despite finding some of her behaviors annoying and not going to the same school. They also have somewhat of a tsundere personality, as they tend to be very blunt, and they don't have a problem speaking the harsh truth to others. This person hates anything to do with horror and can get scared easily. They tend to only cosplay characters from kids' anime, and mainly only characters that match their build. However, sometimes they cosplay characters that their build doesn't fit. They also have a sibling involved in cosplay, and their sibling is one of the things they care about the most. Their sibling is also part of the reason they developed feelings for Gojo in the first place, as he treated them extremely kind, causing the person to call him wonderful. Gojo is also the first boy this person had ever held hands with, and it's Sajuna. Did you know that in More Than a Married Couple, but not lovers, Shiori and Akari confess their deepest secrets to each other? Sometime after summer break, everyone started preparing for the upcoming school sports festival. It just so happened that Shiori and Akari would join the cheer squad for the event. Because of this, the two of them would have to show up to practice most days after school. During their first practice, there came an exercise where everyone would have to pair up with someone. However, Shiori was having a hard time finding a partner due to not having many friends in the cheer squad. Seeing this, Akari decided to offer to be her partner for the exercise. During their time together, the two actually became really good friends. Eventually, their conversation led to them talking about how they were jealous of each other, with both of them telling each other how they wanted to be more like the other in some way. But when Shiori told Akari how she wanted to be like her, she admitted it was because she believed that the person she loved was in love with Akari. Hearing this, Akari laughed in disbelief and admitted that the person she loved was in love with Shiori. What they didn't know is that they both loved Jiro. Does Gojo get paid for making all of Marin's outfits in My Dress Up Darling? Gojo spends hours of his time making Marin's cosplays, but he's never seen getting paid for the work he puts in. The cosplays themselves are also expensive, as the raw materials cost a ton, and Gojo never cuts costs when choosing the materials because he wants to make the perfect cosplay. There's also the studios they rent out. Luckily, Marin pays for that, the materials, and she even treats him to food from time to time. But there is also the value of the labor, tools, transportation, and even the props he makes. When Gojo made Shinju's cosplay, Juju knew that her sister couldn't cover all those costs after the materials, and knowing how important they were, she paid for them herself, even when she didn't have to. For Gojo, he already has most of the tools he needs thanks to the Hina doll shop, and he most likely pays for his transportation by himself due to the fact that he's not traveling with Marin all the time. Fortunately, the materials for the props would also probably be covered alongside the materials with the cosplay by Marin, leaving the cost of labor. Gojo could argue that spending time with Marin is more than enough payment, and that it doesn't matter because he enjoys making cosplays so much. But the answer to him being paid can be found in the manga. During a conversation, it is revealed that Marin actually overpays. You know that in Charlotte, you might not have plundered every single ability? He sacrificed his memory to save all the ability wielders in the world, but in the end, he might have failed. When you started his mission, he started with countries outside of Japan, and was only able to plunder people with actual abilities. It was only after he had cleared a few countries of their ability wielders that he got the ability that could worsen diseases, and figured out that he had to also take the abilities of people who had abilities but hadn't manifested them yet. Because of this, there are a few countries that you had left where people were still going to manifest abilities, which means he would have to return to those countries and take the abilities of the people who were about to manifest one. But even if he did go back immediately to those countries to completely wipe it from having abilities, he still wouldn't have completed his mission. And that's mainly because the total time his entire journey took was between 6 months to 2 years, because everyone in the student council was still in high school when he got back, as well as Ayumi still being around middle school age. And right before he left for his mission, Shunsuke told Yu not to worry about Japan, which means most of the people in Japan still had their special abilities, as many hadn't left adolescence. How did each member of the sins commit their sin in the 7 deadly sins? Each member has been accused of the sins they represent, but only one of them has willingly committed the crime they are said to represent, with the others being accused of their sin. For Meliodas, he considers his failure to protect Danafor as his sin. When it happened, he was unable to control his wrath and annihilated the kingdom with his powers. Ban got his sin when he took the blame for destroying the Fairy King's forest and unaliving their guardian saint so he could have immortality, even though that wasn't what truly happened. King was blamed for almost starting a war between between the humans and fairies. This was because he took on the punishment for all of the crimes Helbram committed against the human race, and he was considered as the sin of sloth, as they believed he had turned a blind eye to the crimes he committed. Diane had her sin placed on her when she and her mentor Matrona were deceived by a holy knight who ended up unaliving Matrona, but the blame for her passing was put on Diane, and she was labeled the sin of envy for being jealous towards Matrona. Gowther became the sin of lust after being accused of committing vile acts against Nadja Leonis when he was trying to bring her back to life. Escanor got his sin when he was destroying many villages and towns and injuring the knights who tried to stop him, but this was actually due to his powers. Merlin is the only one of the sins who willingly committed their sin, as she manipulated the supreme deity, Demon King, and even the 7 deadly sins to satisfy her glutton for all knowledge and magical power. Did you know that in More Than a Married Couple But Not Lovers, Jiro asked Akari to move in with him after the practical? It all starts when Akari cooks dinner and half-jokingly asks if they will still live together after graduation. Jiro laughs it off at first, but deep down, he cannot stop thinking about it. Later that night, the two sit on the balcony under the city lights, and Jiro finally opens up. He admits that he used to think he would live alone after high school, but the thought of continuing his life living with her felt natural to him. Akari is shocked as he asks if she was serious when she said she wanted to keep living together, and he goes even further, inviting her to live with him once they graduate. However, Akari denies his invitation, saying that liking her company wasn't a good enough reason to live together, and that she would only live with her lover, which they wouldn't be after the practical was over. That night, Jiro seriously began considering confessing his love to her.